What's a life hack that is actually a life hack? Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. I wish you a pleasant viewing experience. Story 1. Crumple your baking paper and then flatten it out again before putting it on the baking tray to prevent it from rolling up. Story 2. Compliment people on their outfits, their cars, their hair, co-workers, strangers, friends. It makes them feel good, and it will make you feel good. You become known as a good person, a nice person, someone people look forward to seeing every day because you always have something nice to say. Always be genuine. You start to notice nice things about people around you when you keep it real too. You notice when people do their hair. You notice when a coworker has bought a new shirt. It makes you more aware. I love doing this on the street, particularly when I can tell a stranger has just put effort into their hair outfit. The way they light up really makes my day, and you can tell it makes theirs too. Pro tip. When complimenting people of the opposite gender, keep it about their abilities and their hobbies. I saw your presentation. You worked really hard. Dude, nice car. That crochet dog looks amazing. Answer. When I worked as a gate agent for an airline, I would look for something about a person to compliment while I was boarding my flights. My mantra while I worked there was, everyone else they talked to was probably awful, so I would make a point to be nice. I got so many good letters in my file because I choose to be kind. Also, I never had anyone scream or yell at me or even called the cops on an unruly person in 15 years. Funny how that works. Story 3. When you see it, act on it. E.g. crumbs on floor, then sweep them up. Smudge on the wall, then wipe it. Frayed phone cord, replace it. Don't put shoot off. Don't do it later. Don't do it tomorrow. Do it now. Take care of the little things immediately, and the big things seem to take care of themselves. And you'll be surprised how quickly life improves. Story 4. Energy makes energy. Once you get off the couch and start doing things, you have a lot of energy to keep doing things. Story 5. If you naturally wake up at the end of a sleep cycle, just get up for the day, even if it's slightly earlier than the alarm. Don't fall back asleep and don't lay in bed. You'll feel better and have a more productive day. Story 6. If you have a choice between two things and don't know what you want to do, flip a coin. It will reveal what your truest opinion is, because if you flip the coin and are cool with how it lands, then that's what you want. But if you flip it and your reaction is to decide best 2 out of 3, it tells you that the other choice is what you really want. That doesn't necessarily mean you found the best choice, but it lets you know which choice you really want to most. Answer. I had to choose between 2 internship placements in grad school and booked a meeting with my advisor. I told them the situation, and they said, take a breath and get ready to answer this question as quickly as you can. I took my breath and they asked, do you want to intern at, or my reaction was immediate, and I ended up choosing the one that I said. Despite feeling like it was a really hard decision, when I just gave a quick gut response, it was the right one. The placement ended up being all right, not amazing, and not terrible. I learned a lot, and it helped me at the start of my career. But I can always look back on that moment and know that whatever happened, I trusted my gut. I think that's a bit of a life hack as well. If you follow your gut and do the best you can to research both choices, it can help remove a lot of regret later on. You can chalk up any mistaken decisions in your past as grief from the loss rather than regret when you follow through and say, I made the best decision I could at the time. Story 7. In the morning, brush your teeth with non-dominant hand. It was scientifically proven to create new neurological patterns and therefore wakes you up easier. Story 8. Don't be afraid to have a smaller social circle. You'll have more time, energy, and love for the people that truly have your back and want the best for you. Trust me, you'll also feel lighter, untethered to negativity, and can stay focused on bettering yourself. In the end, there's no grand trophy or prize for the person with the most friends. Story 9. If you want to cancel something like a gym membership online, do this. Change your address to a random California zip code because they have a law that companies need to offer a click and cancel option. Did this from MA to get out of a Planet Fitness membership. Story 10. If you can remember why you walked into a room, then go back to the spot you started from. 99 of the time, your brain will reboot and remind you. Story 11. If you're worried that drinking a bottle of red wine will stain your teeth, afterwards immediately drink a bottle of white wine to counteract it. Story 12. For sufferers of IBM, take Imodium while on vacation and important events. It takes away the sensation of needing to poop every 45 minutes. Just found this out recently, and my life has started anew. Answer. As a person who doesn't suffer from IBS, I'm going to piggyback and say, Always have Imodium nearby if you're going to be not home half a day, like your office desk, or if you work on site somewhere, keep it in your bag, glove box, whatever. You don't always get to choose your lunch, and you never get to decide how your intestines feel about the lunch you ate. Better safe than sorry. Story 13. If you're preheating a pan on the stove but need to walk away for just a quick second, set the timer on the stove for 2 minutes. Story 14. I always park in the same row at the grocery store, so I don't have to struggle to remember where I parked. Story 15. When you wake up, try to get some sunlight in your vision ASAP. It will help you wake up and fall asleep when it's bedtime. Story 16. Open your moist towelette packet before you cover your hands in disgusting filth when eating KFC. Same goes for opening your tub of sweet and sour sauce or a bottle lid. Also, condensation on a Pepsi can is also able to be used to partially clean the disgusting filth off your hands after eating KFC. Lastly, if you are in the middle of eating KFC, but you need to open a door with a circular handle, you can open it with both of your forearms as to avoid getting disgusting filth on the door handle. Edit. Here is a bonus one. If you are watching Netflix while eating KFC and you need to pause the stream, you can orient the remote control towards the TV with your wrist, then push the pause button with your knuckle. It will either be your pointer knuckle or your pinky knuckle, whichever is less covered by the disgusting filth. Story 17. When buying a car, you can Google the VIN and see if it was ever listed on an auto auction site, and you can see if airbags were deployed from car collisions. Story 18. Disable notifications on the apps and mute the groups you are not interested in. This would save your time, and you would be in a good mental state. Story 19. The might as well rule for getting stuff done instead of spinning your wheels. Example. Waiting for a pot to boil on the stove? Might as well empty the dishwasher in the meantime. Story 20. Clean up as you go. I found that in my kitchen it's much easier to clean up as I cook. Less mess. I've started applying this to other areas like picking up snacks and stuff that are left out by the kid, and it frees up more time to do what I want because I'm not constantly cleaning anymore. Story 21. Unfollow people who make you feel like shoot whoever they are. Follow the ones that push you forward in any way. Story 22. Decisions become much easier to make when you just stop giving a and the outcome is usually okay. Story 23. Plan tomorrow tonight. Write your top 3 tasks, set out clothes, and stage your bag by the door. Then use the 2-minute rule. If it takes under 2 minutes, do it now. Those 2 habits eliminate most daily friction. Story 24. Okay, actual life hack that's not just clickbait? Got you. Put your phone across the room when you go to bed, like far enough that you have to get up to turn off the alarm. Sounds dumb simple, right? But it seriously changed my mornings. No more snoozing 5 times and waking up in a panic. Story 25. When you make hard-boiled eggs, before you put them in the water, crack them on the counter near the bottom of the egg. Not hard enough to fully break them. You want the membrane inside intact. But the slight crack lets the water get in during boiling. And once they're done, you can swish them around in a plastic dish partly full of water, and the shells will come right off. Story 26. I didn't find this one here in comments, so here it is. Hide your savings for yourself. Make a separate bank account with no mobile banking card and auto-transfer a certain amount every month. Out of sight, out of mind, and it actually works for me. Story 27. Not caring what other people think. If you love to do something, do it. Don't mind the people around you. Don't count the number of likes in your post or story. If you want to post something, post it for the sake of making memories, not to impress and grab their attention. Story 28. Phone on grayscale after 10 p.m. Instantly makes apps boring. I stop doom scrolling and actually sleep. Tiny change, huge difference. Story 29. When opening a pack of zip ties, don't cut the end off. If you do that, they tend to spill out when moved around. Instead, cut a round hole in the plastic right in the middle so both ends of the ties are still in the plastic. This way, they won't fall out and you can just pluck what you need from the middle. Story 30. If something is fashionable, it's overpriced. Wait for it to go on sale if you really like it. Easier, don't buy anything you don't really need. Story 31. Drive your vehicle as gently as possible. It'll last much longer and cost mountains less in the long run. Answer. Oh, I have to strongly disagree. Just drive your car, rev it high when merging onto highways, accelerate fast when you need to, but don't intentionally keep the RPMs at or below 3,000 for the entirety of the car's life. And conversely, don't hold the RPMs at redline for the entirety of the car's life. It's far, far more important to just stay on top of regular maintenance. All regular maintenance, not just oil changes. And for the love of God, never go to a Jiffy Lube type place. The Italian tune-up isn't a myth. It's real and it works to a limit. Many cars benefit from being driven hard as it helps clean out built-up gunk and sludge that otherwise rob horsepower and efficiency. I've had several mechanics tell me this. The worst cars they've ever seen or ever worked on were the cars driven by folks who claimed, "But I never drove it hard," or "I never go over 3,000 RPM. Yes, that is exactly the problem. The engine rarely gets up to operating temp. Carbon buildup everywhere, sludge buildup from being babied. Story 32, Power of Pause. When trying to get your point across during an important discussion with others, pause, say nothing, and make eye contact. A natural reset occurs as it forces others to think, become self-conscious, and really think about their next point. Fair warning, it takes courage to be the one pausing. You have to have the discipline to not say a thing and let things sit for at least 10 seconds. Story 33. When you need to turn on a light at night, close your eyes for a few seconds. Your eyelids let through a small amount of light and your irises will adjust to the brightness without pain. Story 34. Take the dirty trash bag out of the trash can, tie it up and set it on the ground. Grab a replacement trash bag and put it in the can. Then take the dirty trash out. Taking the trash out and coming back from the journey to realize you still have more work to do is tragic. Just take care of everything in the kitchen first and leave the trash journey for last. Story 35. Move all your chores, cleaning, and errands to weekdays. This way, you get 2 full days of leisure. It will do wonders for your mental health. Story 36. Make your #1 goal in life to be able to eat very small meals all the time for the rest of your life. Story 37. For a decade or so by now, I've been splurging at the post office and buying stamps in rolls of 100 instead of sheets of 20, etc. One roll lasts a couple of years. There are still a few donations that I prefer to make by paper check. The county surcharges, electronic transfers for property taxes, etc. Last time I bought 2 rolls of Forever stamps. I'm good for the next several rate increases. Yeah, I'm sticking it to demand, 8 cents at a time. Story 38. When making a PBJ, apply jelly first so you can easily wipe the knife clean on the second piece of bread before applying peanut butter. No need to get a new knife or wash it off in between. Story 39. Put your phone charger next to another outlet, not next to your bed. You sleep better and you actually get up in the morning because you have to get up for the phone. Story 40. If a life hack is a simple technique to make life easier or more efficient, then getting enough sleep is at the top of my life. It really does make that much of a difference. You can implement 20 clever hacks to try and boost your energy and productivity, or you could just get 1 to 2 more hours of sleep per day and get better results. Story 41. When you're feeling unsure, not confident in your next move, self-doubt too many choices. Just make a choice. A small one. Knock off the tiniest thing on that to-do list. Confidence comes with moving forward, dispute the missteps. The failure that makes you feel not confidence will come no matter. It's the only way to succeed. Fail and fail often. When you stop trying, that's the only time you really fail. Story 42. Learn how to meditate and clear your mind. It takes practice during easier times that will pay back tenfold in times of stress and anxiety. I've learned meditation as a teen. When I was 35, I got cancer. Being able to meditate still gave me the ability to sleep through this hell. Story 43. If you really like a product so much so that you bring it everywhere, consider having multiple of them and put them everywhere instead. It's really convenient. Story 44. This hits hard. Executive dysfunction is like having the world's worst project manager running your brain. One thing that completely changed my life was time boxing everything the night before. Not just work stuff, literally everything. 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m., shower and get dressed. 9:30, 10 a.m., breakfast while checking emails. It sounds obsessive, but when your brain struggles with transitions and starting tasks, having that external structure becomes like GPS for your day. Takes away all the decision fatigue of what should I do next. I also started treating my environment like I'm designing it for someone else who has ADHD. Phone chargers in every room, duplicate glasses, keys, everything. Remove as much friction as possible. The other game changer was reframing how I think about myself. Instead of I'm inconsistent or I'm scattered, I started telling myself, I am an executor. Sounds cheesy, but your brain believes what you tell it. Been off ADHD meds for 4 years now, just using systems like these. Executive dysfunction doesn't have to be a life sentence. You just need to work with your brain instead of against it. Disclosure, I'm the founder of Scattermind, where I help ADHDers become full-time entrepreneurs. Story 45. Coffee naps. Want to take a quick nap, but know you'll wake up feeling like you just got hit by a train? Guzzle down half a cup of coffee right before you lay your dome down. and I promise you, you'll awake feeling like you just slept through 8 alarms and you're late for your grandpa's funeral. Story 46. Keep a running to-do list in a visible location. Every time you have some free time, pick something on the list that you can easily do right then. I can tell you how much more I get done now that I don't just keep my to-do list in my head. Story 47. I'm not having this conversation via text is a fantastic way to ensure you're never on record saying something you'll regret. Add a LOL emoji for further de-escalation. Also, try to become a morning person. Get a walk routine in with a nice podcast or an audiobook. You'll be super productive and also improve your sleep quality. Story 48. If you want to simplify your life and make extra time available for the things you want to do, don't trawl through hours and hours of detailed, finely crafted life hack videos on YouTube. Instead, make a Reddit post and get people to post you their best life hack experiences. Story 49. When you make a bunch of sandwiches to take with you, like on a beach day or pool day with the kids, use the bread bag to keep the sandwiches together. I like it because it keeps the sandwiches together in a cooler or bag, saves on sandwich bags, it has a twist tie, you can use paper towels to keep each sandwich separate. It makes it so much easier to grab one roll the bag down as you go. I'll put the PBJs on the bottom, the turkey cheeses on the top, just in case the jelly seeps onto the paper towels, la. I promise it makes pool trips so much easier. Story 50. If you're at the supermarket but don't have a discount card, the local area code plus 8675309 always works. Story 51. Be honest with yourself. If you want to watch a TV show while scrolling through Reddit, just turn the TV off and scroll Reddit. That's what you wanted to do anyway. Anything else is just noise. Story 52. Okay, here is a weirdly specific one. Say you have a bag or chips, crisps, for those not in the States. If you can't find a clip for the bag, fold the 2 top corners away from you so the top of the bag looks like a point. Then roll the point a few times toward you, leaving a bit of the folded corners exposed. Then flip the remainder of the upper corners toward you. Et voila! Chip clipless bag closure. Story 53. I saw a life hack a while ago on Reddit advising to use your hands to squeegee the excess water off of your body before drying off so your towel's not as wet. I've never gone without a self-squeegee since honestly was a game changer. Story 54. Display your screen time over everything. Seeing it goes up disgusts me and makes me put my phone down. I can't do app blockers, so this is what works for me. Found something called Screen Time Overlay on Google Play that does this. Story 55. There's no need to sniff your fingers after you scratch your jerk or balls. It just smells like jerk or balls. We all know this, but we still do it. Also, do not pretend to be disgusted in order to imply that you do not do this. You are fooling no one. Story 56. Top of mind, always look for a mentor if you want to learn or be something. Want to be rich? Talk to the rich and ask them to teach you. Want to get fit? Ask those who already have an active lifestyle. Want to be smart? Be around the intellects. Ask someone who already lives the life you're envisioning for yourself and learn from them so you can eventually pave a path for yourself. And besides, humans are literally wired for connection. We achieve greater things when we're surrounded by good people. Also, KISS, keep it short and simple. Small steps instead of big strides. Literally and figuratively, I can add more, but those are my favorites. Story 57. Don't be crippled by small decisions and feel free to delegate. If you don't know what to order at a restaurant, for example, tell the waiter the options you're deciding between and tell them to surprise you. Then be happy with whatever they bring. Story 58. Investing as early as possible and ideally regularly, even with small amounts. Time is your ally. Compounding interest is absolute voodoo math and will make you rich without you barely lifting a finger. This is the 8th wonder of the world, and few realize it. If you want to hack your life, then be rich. Story 59. If you have a metal lid that you can't unscrew from a jar, tap the edges of the lid in a few places on the edge of a stainless steel sink or something else hard that you won't damage. The lid will open easily after that. Story 60. Don't comment on anything that someone can't fix in 5 seconds, e.g., you have something in your teeth, there's a piece of fuzz on your lip, etc. If it's anything else, it's not worth bringing up. Story 61. Have a routine and have set places for your things. Always keep things in the same pocket, purse pocket, drawer, shelf, etc. And you'll be much less likely to lose things as your steps will be easily retraced once you eliminated the usual suspects. Story 62. Places that have a membership program for discounts, Safeway grocery stores, gas stations, etc., usually have phone numbers tied to those accounts. Instead of creating myself an account, filling out paperwork, and giving my personal information to some soulless corporation, I cheat. That's right. Anytime I want to save 0.03 gallon on gas or save 1.00 on a frozen pizza, I cheat. When it comes to checkout and they ask if I'm a club member, I select Enter Alternate ID and use the My Local Area code and the phone number 8675309. Shockingly, it works very frequently. I have no idea who's collecting the reward points, but I get my shoot discounts and go on my merry way. Story 63. If you park in a big lot, drop a pin on Google Maps when you get out. No more wandering around like an NPC looking for your car. Story 64. If you struggle with weight, start counting calories. It will show exactly where your bad habits are. I've been bedridden for 2.5 years with long COVID. Had a bit of a weight problem before I got sick, but it escalated quickly after. After I learned to count calories, I've lost 30 kilograms while never going hungry. Few change habits was all it took, even without any physical activity. Some people are impressed with my weight loss, but honestly, I'm not actually proud of it, as it was incredibly easy. Scarily easy, in fact. Biggest life hack there ever was. Story 65. When going to the store, get a cart from the cart return instead of getting one when you walk in. The ones in the cart return have been pushed all over the store and then out to the parking lot. A bad cart would have been abandoned earlier. And on the rare occasion you do get a bad cart, there is ample opportunity to replace it before even going into the store. Story 66. Sit down and create a cup list of all your small annoyances that you need to deal with on a list. Broken window, that mold growing, that small favor to do. Spend one day of your weekend to go through that entire list, and you'll be surprised how much better your life becomes. Story 67. When putting on a pillowcase, I turn the pillowcase inside out, then reach my arms into the opposite corners, grab my pillow through the pillowcase, and then shimmy the case onto the pillow as I wiggle my arms out of the pillowcase. Story 68. Attune to your children when they are crying, even if what they are crying about seems silly to you. It makes them feel loved, and the nice thing for you is 9 times out of 10, they will stop crying sooner than if you yelled at them to stop crying. Story 69. Shop only the perimeter of the grocery store. Work out 3x a week. Yes, it makes that big a difference. Sleep 8 hours a night. Story 70. Working yourself to passing is more cost-effective than drinking yourself to passing. Also, if you don't value existing, you can save costs on safety. Story 71. Don't just put a toilet paper roll on the sink. Put it on the dispenser. I mean, you're just sitting there anyway. Story 72. If you forget your reusable grocery bag at home, don't buy another one at the store. Buy a roll of garbage bags and use a couple of them to bag the groceries. Obviously only relevant if you need garbage bags. Story 73. Pay your future self first. Max out your company's 401k match. You probably won't even miss the money, but you will have $1 million when you retire. Story 74. Have you cut the lid off of a paper egg carton? It helps store condiments upside down in the fridge for easier later use. Story 75. If you're born with access to a large amount of money, you can use that money to acquire businesses, to acquire more money, and shield your assets from taxation. Story 76. I saw this posted elsewhere recently, but next time you go to Costco or your grocery store, look at the sell-by date for your choice cuts of meat, wake up early on that day, and those same cuts should be marked down up to 80. In the U.S., at least the sell-by date is not indicative of food being spoiled or bad. It's for the grocery to take that food off the shelves, anticipating it will go bad afterwards. Go stock your freezer and don't let shoot marketing and lobbying ruin your next grocery haul. Story 77. Journaling. Need to let things out but can't afford a therapist? Keep a journal. Have a lot of negative thoughts that echo through your mind all day? Write those thoughts down in a journal. Need to be more mindful of those around you and their feelings? Exercise that by writing in a journal. Make it a daily habit. Save it for later reading or throw away the pages you wrote every day. It doesn't matter. Having an outlet to get those thoughts out of your brain and into the physical world has a way of dampening their power. By keeping a daily journaling routine combined with daily exercise, even just a walk around the neighborhood after dinner, got me completely off of depression meds. It takes work and you'll dislike it at first, but it's a magical combination. Story 78. Low to moderate exercise. 5 to 6 days a week has a laundry list of benefits and, other than shoes and socks, it's free. Story 79. Bake at a lower temperature for a longer time than what the recipe says. Your food will cook more gradually, thoroughly. Story 80. We were having hornet's wasps hang around our AC vent. They don't like peppermint, so I made a strong peppermint tea and put it in a spray bottle. It kept them away, but I had to reapply it often. A better hack is, they're territorial and won't build a nest where one already exists. Crumple a brown paper bag and tape or tie it where you see them hanging around. Story 81. If you have trouble opening a jar, anything with a twist-off lid really, put a rubber band around the lid. Put a paper towel over it and twist it off that way. I need my pickles, dang it. Story 82. For all my fellow sweaty people out there, here's a hack that I tried and it changed my life. I used to apply deodorant in the morning, and then by midday I had visible sweat stains. Instead, take a shower at night not long before you go to bed. Pat dry your underarms and apply your deodorant. Ma foi, make sure it's an antiperspirant. Avoid sweating as this will wash away the antiperspirant. The antiperspirant needs a few hours to soak into your pores, so it's best to do it before bed, where you don't sweat much. In the morning and throughout the whole day, you will be sweat and odor-free. Story 83. Set up automatic transfers to savings the day after payday. You'll never miss the money, and it builds up way faster than trying to save what's left at the end of the month. Story 84. Always read the fine print. Not because you'll beat the system, but because you should at least know how badly you're being fudged. Story 85. If you're tired of scrubbing dishes and have just one sink, grab a large container, fill it with water, and let your dishes soak overnight. By morning, you can easily take them out and load them straight into the dishwasher, keeping your kitchen sink clear at all times. Story 86. Keep a spare phone charger literally everywhere. Bag, car, work desk, friend's house. You'll become the most popular person in any group. Story 87. Use sweatbands on your wrists when washing your face or doing dishes. It will keep water from running down your arms. Story 88. Emailing Carvin4Cheap@gmail to get a Carfax for only $9. Oh, and ripping the bottom off the cupcake and placing it on top to make a little sandwich to keep frosting from getting into your nose. Story 89. Aluminum foil behind your router-free Wi-Fi superpowers. Frozen sponge in a Ziploc drip-free ice pack. Tiny drop of soap on glassish helmet, no more fog, just vibes. Story 90. Daily audio journaling. So much easier than written journaling, and you can do it while outside in fresh air. It's like having a phone conversation with a best friend who never interrupts you. Story 91. Whatever it is, just start right now. School, career move, a business, a hobby, just start. There are so many things you could be successful at or finishing right now if you had just acted on it when you had the idea. Story 92. I haven't tried this yet. I keep meaning to. So I can't confirm its efficacy, but I read that storing sarin, plastic cling, wrap in the freezer makes it much easier to work with. The cold film won't stick to itself, becoming the insufferable clusterfuck it is at room temperature. Once in place over the dish you're covering, room temperature returns it to its original, clingy state. Story 93. Back into parking spots, you can scope your surroundings while pulling up, and when you leave, there's no blind spots. Also, you'll piss off half the internet. Story 94. Taking a small knife and gently poking it through the crack of a jar, the lid all the way around to release the pressure. I never again need to ask for help. Watch a TikTok first for a visual because it really works. Story 95. Every morning do a few push-ups and hit a maximum cold shower. Wakes you up instantly. Way better than coffee, etc. Story 96. If you have toilet stains but no brush, trail a piece of toilet paper over them and into the water. Water will wick up, and later you can just flush. Story 97. Get a set of those probing picks like they use at the dentist. They're ridiculously useful for things like getting pocket lint out of the charging port on your phone, or detail cleaning furniture, or stuff like that. Story 98. Putting your phone on grayscale mode actually works wonders for reducing screen time. Found that tip on RNO Surf a while back, and it's surprisingly effective. Also, the classic freeze your credit card in a block of ice trick saved my wallet from too many impulse buys. Story 99. If you can afford it and have space, buy all your toiletries, cleaning products, toilet rolls, etc. in one go once a year. Story 100. As a single person, stay away from buy two, get 3 free deals. I have like 10 bags of chips going stale in the cupboard, LOL. Story 101. Putting a cup of water in the microwave when reheating pizza makes the cheese melty and the crust soft. Also works with pasta, meat, and any food that is supposed to be wet moist. Story 102. All movement counts. You don't need a program, gym, special clothes, certain time of day, etc. Just move for a minute. Here and there throughout the day, your body doesn't care if you're in a gym or not when you do a random push-up. Story 103. Cheaper spices can be found in the ethnic food section. Use Google Street View to see parking restriction signs ahead of time. Story 104. Get off social media and YouTube shorts and download brain games to play when you feel that deathly urge to scroll. Solitaire, Sudoku, NYT games, words with friends, etc. Instead of rotting it to mush, make your brain work harder, expand neural networks, grow your vocabulary, and so on. Story 105. 1. Learn how to enjoy intimacy with unattractive people. 2. Watch foreign film until you learn how to enjoy it, especially any Asian cinema. 3. Learn how to enjoy just walking in nature. Do it until you get it. Story 106. Forming a habit of gym cardio followed by cold shower after your warm shower every morning. Noticeable increased energy and mood. Story 107. Don't worry or stress about anything. Think of their thoughts instead. Tails a little practice, but it's life-changing. Story 108. I don't know if this one is a common one or not, but if there are two glasses stuck in each other, don't extract them by using brute force. Either put water between the two or more, ideally soap. Story 109. I recently saw someone post that they had set their phone setup to donate 5 to their least liked politician if they didn't meet their daily step goal. Story 110. Only buy things you love, eat clothes, bits from shops like TK Maxx, homeware stuff. It has helped me with impulse buying. Ask yourself, do I love it? Obviously, that doesn't help with other things like car insurance. Story 111. ChatGPT nutritionist, personal trainer, tax tips, financial advisor, sounding board for specific therapy modalities, in between appointments. Honestly, there's more. For me, it's the life hack that's been entirely transformative. Story 112. Move to within 30 minutes biking distance to work. Your 5 hours of commuting per week become your 5 hours of exercise time. You will be healthier. Maybe the best shape of your life, considering 5 hours of exercise is automatic. Gyms, diets, and working out cost time and money. Save money on healthcare. Cars have tremendous hidden costs. The car that you are leasing for $300 a month is actually costing you $1,000 a month in gas, maintenance service and parts, repairs, insurance, or registration, parking fees, and tickets. Also, it fulfills some of your leisure needs, so you'll find less need to step out of the house and spend money. So if you can commute to work, you'll have a lot more money and time. Be healthier physically and probably mentally. If a job pays 20 kish more, but it requires driving and sitting in traffic for an hour, you're probably breaking even with the job that you can bike to. For every 100 saved means you have to earn 200 in salary before taxes. Story 113. Have a spreadsheet in Excel or an app where you track your spending. Take your income minus set expenses, what you plan to save, then everything else you can spend as you want. It really helps with spending habits and makes it easier to save up money. Story 114. You are my kind of human and I love what you do. I try too, and that feeling you get when you see the delight on their faces when you are giving them a compliment and not insulting them. Follow this lead beautiful people. Story 115. Just saying I saw more actual life hacks here than my last 5 years in the LPT sub, where now it's mostly people sharing their wisdom and useless platitudes. Story 116. If you want to make cold tea, do not fill the entire cup with hot water, only fill to cover the tea bag and then some. This is also when you'd add the sugar to dissolve, if applicable. Stir and leave it to soak. Stir again after waiting for some time and fill the rest of the cup with cold water. I don't know if anyone else does this. So far, 2 people I know were impressed by this. Story 117. Buy kids sneakers. Most women's sizes convert and they are the same but cheaper. Got a pair of trendy Nikes for half price when women's sizes were out of stock. Shoe store suggested it. Never knew. Story 118. Buy large dog flea medicine and distribute to your small or medium dogs evenly. They charge the same amount for large dose for big dogs and tiny dose for little dogs. So buying large dog, you get 3 to 4 Otox the medicine for the same price. Lasts you longer, saves money. Story 119. Honestly, just setting a 10-minute timer when I don't feel like doing something. I tell myself I'll stop when the timer's up, but once I start, I usually end up finishing the whole thing without even noticing. Story 120. Any backpack that doesn't have an adequate hip belt is worthless. You should invest in ones that can transfer at least 50 of the weight off your shoulders onto your hips. Stitching on the straps matters a lot, and you want the hip belt to be more than just nylon straps unless you know you're wearing thick clothing as padding. That way you can adjust the backpack to be comfortable. This will save you in daily life, such as carrying heavy books laptop, or when going to get groceries. Bring a tote bag for light items and put the heavy liquids in your backpack. This will also increase your quality of travel instead of lugging around a noisy wheelie thing. You can comfortably carry what you need with most of the weight supported by your hips. If you're someone who finds backpacks uncomfortable, then I recommend trying the various styles but always have a hip belt. Some have breathable backs so you don't sweat as much on the back. Some have rigid frames so even more of the weight is off your neck and shoulders transferred to your hips. Also, more volume doesn't always mean you'll be happier. Sometimes the trade-off of having less space to pack means you pack more efficiently and save your back shoulders, but always have and use the hip belt. Story 121. If you roll an orange hard on a table before peeling, the skin separates from the fruit and comes off in one go. No mess, no sticky hands. Story 122. Keep a photo of your driver's license on your phone. At hotels, you can usually still check in and get new keys even when you've misplaced your license. It can mean the difference between having a place to stay and not having one. Story 123. Marry rich or marry someone in a lucrative profession. Sounds shallow, but it really can offer you an entirely different life. It obviously depends on the person and your love for each other. Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy less stress, and not being stressed makes most people happy. Story 124. Being early, being positive, generating positivity but not overly, regardless of circumstances. Being humble. Story 125. Do the worst task on your list first, get it over and out of the way instead of dreading it all day. Story 126. If you apply to a job, give it a week and call and speak to the person in charge of hiring and introduce yourself and let them know you have submitted an application. Be polite but confident, and also ask when would be a good time to come in for an interview. This has worked for me and I landed the job. Story 127. Don't criticize people unless it's your job to do so. Don't give people advice unless they ask for it. Don't tell people what to do unless you are their boss. Story 128. Maybe it is a statement of the obvious, but I'd say anything that restores something lost or degrading, and things that prevent what might normally occur but be disastrous. 1. Vaccines. 2. Eyeglasses, hearing aids, wheelchairs, etc. 3. Surgery. I consider these hacks because we figured out a way to beat something by reasoning, being creative, and understanding the nature of the problem. Story 129. Say yes with conditions or no with solutions is a negotiation strategy designed to avoid a simple refusal. It involves either agreeing to a request but with specific conditions attached, or rejecting the request but immediately offering viable alternative solutions. This approach helps maintain a collaborative and productive tone, demonstrating a willingness to find a mutually beneficial outcome rather than ending the conversation. By using this method, negotiators can protect their interests while preserving relationships and showing flexibility. Not everything needs to be black and white, yes or no. Story 130. Becoming the most evil person to have ever existed, thus making your memory live on for a lot longer through future generations. Story 131. As someone with ADHD, don't put it down, put it away. Not that I actually remember to do it, but it helped for the short time I did. Story 132. This is less about the coin and more about realizing you already know the answer. You just needed a push. Story 133. If you're feeling the sensation of poop come on, but can't release it for some reason, sit in the squat position for a while and it'll trigger a smoother bowel movement. Story 134. Doing a gene analysis and checking predisposition for potential nutrient issues that come up. Things like MTHFR can really fudge up your life and are linked to depression and ADHD-like symptoms, and in fact, they can be mostly solved with some supplements. The doctors won't do that for you, but if you're prepared with your genome, you can guide discovery process when you have a chronic disease. Story 135. If you spin your arm around while holding a bottle of ketchup or whatnot, the force will make it so it all goes to the bottom for easy use. Story 136. Keep receipts from fast foods to get free food places like Burger King and Popeyes give you a free food with purchase of fries and drink. Story 137. You have to learn to let go of control. It's the only way to peace of mind. You don't actually control anything beyond your reactions. Story 138. Instead of stacking your clothing in drawers, place them sideways so you can see everything at once. Story 139. When tired, look up in your field of vision for several minutes and you will be at least a bit more awake. Story 140. I found a tip for making cotton candy at home. Crush a lollipop and then mix the pieces with sugar. You'll find it's much easier to get sugar silk than regular sugar. Story 141. If you reheat something in the microwave, throw it in a cold bowl plate before eating. It will cool quicker and you're less likely to burn yourself. Story 142. You can use a massage gun on a lotion bottle to quickly get the last of the trapped lotion out if you're like me and refuse to throw that last 3 millimeters of product away and turn it upside down and leave this precarious bottle on your sink for 2 months until you knock it over and make a mess and get pissed off. Story 143. If you're stuck in the desert and it's too hot, you can always eat ants to survive. That's why they're called refrigerants. Story 144. Using a binder clip to hold your phone charger in place at the edge of your desk. Simple, cheap, and saves so much daily annoyance. Story 145. If you can defer your supreme jury duty, do it. I got out of a month-long sitting in trials to a one-day-in-trial court case. Best decision I have made this year. Story 146. Feeling a little stiff or joints are creaky? Rub some peppermint oil on your knees and shoulder. It's like putting WD-40 on the door hinge. Your joints are literally hinges. Story 147. Tidy up your apartment for just 1 minute every day right after you wake up. It feels like doing nothing, but it makes it much easier to maintain a tidy house. Story 148. Turn off screens a couple hours before your preferred bedtime. Easier to fall asleep, and the sleep is deeper. You can even do house chores or whatever in the time as a bonus. Story 149. No one will do it but you. Sure, other people might, but the only person that will actually do it is you. Works for all your personal chores and to-dos you've been putting aside like the laundry on your floor. Story 150. Don't ever use your snooze alarm. Set your alarm for the latest possible time you can get up and still make it to work. Story 151. Just do it, no matter what it is. Instead of griping about it, just go and do it, and you will be a lot happier. Too much time is partied too hard because we debate with our own self about whether to do something or not. Story 152. Tick and roll the bottom corners of your crisp e-chip packets so that they stand up on the table in their own makeshift bowl. Story 153. When you go to put your lettuce back in the fridge, wrap it in paper towels or put paper towels in the bag of lettuce. It will draw away moisture and give you several more days of freshness before the lettuce starts to turn. Story 154. If they are cheating on someone else to be with you, they will most likely cheat on you too. I admit it's not really a hack, but I've seen so many people ignore this and get burned, myself included. Story 155. Match your activities with your natural energy cycle throughout the day. You'll feel better, be more productive during high-energy tasks, and more relaxed during low-no productive tasks. Story 156. I struggle with people. I'm reserved and was bullied as a kid, and I always used to think that people don't like me. But I started to think about who my favorite people are to run into. And one thing they had in common is that they always seem so happy to run into me. So I decided to put it into action myself. Now, whenever I run into an acquaintance, instead of being weird and awkward, I immediately smile, wave, and if I'm close enough, say, "Oh, it's so nice to see you." It felt really weird for a while, but the reactions are worth it. So many people would light up and smile back, and suddenly it wasn't awkward anymore. Now, whenever I run into people, often they're the first ones to smile and say, "Hi." It's made such a huge difference in how I go through life. I get invited to more things. People reach out more and seem genuinely happy to see me. And when someone is awkward and weird, I also am able to brush it off easier, knowing it's on them, not me. Story 157. Creating routine to help you be productive. I've never liked routine and was pretty annoyed when it actually worked. Story 158. When you need to remember to do something in the morning, put the item you can't forget, keys, wallet, etc., on top of your shoes. It is impossible to leave without seeing it. Story 159. If you have anxiety around writing emails, split it into 2 parts. Write it, edit it, get it ready to send, set yourself up for success, but don't send it yet. That's future use problem. Walk away, leave it for a while, do other things. Then come back and press send. It doesn't matter what's in that draft, that's past you's problem. This has made my life and anxiety so much easier to deal with. Story 160. Refilling your propane gas grill canisters at a filling station, Sexor's U-Haul, costs about $14 the price, and they fill them up to $80 as opposed to the exchange at places like Home Depot that only fill them up to 40 full for more than twice the price. A bit more effort and time consuming, but totally worth it in my opinion. Story 161. Be positive and enthusiastic whenever you see someone you know. Try to give them a genuine and simple compliment within the first minute of connecting. You could also show interest like, "I heard you just came back from Spain. What was the highlight of your trip?" Rather than just saying, "What's new?" It makes a lasting impression because it associates you with making them feel good about themselves. They'll register you as someone on their good side and will go out of their way to include you in the future. Story 162. Some car dealerships will have an oil change contracts where you buy 2 and get a third for free. It means you have to have funds for 2 oil changes, but buy 2 get 1 free is nice for a 75 oil change. My dealership also offers free tire rotation if you buy their contract. Story 163. Just don't buy it and you won't do it. I just don't buy sweets, and I am way too lazy to go shopping when I get a sweet tooth. 20 years I read Pamela Anderson brushed her teeth when she craved sugar. I am trying to follow Pamela. I can't tell if it works, but the effort to go out and get sweets is definitely too high for me. Story 164. Many times, just being friendly instead of being angry got me everything I needed. Once had to call a revenue agency. I cracked jokes with the client center representative, accidentally gave her wrong info and said, "I am so lost in this world." The lady laughed and said, "Don't worry, I got you covered." My issue was fixed and both had a great day. Story 165. 2 of them, don't waste time in the kitchen. Meaning, if you are waiting for something to get done, do a dish, set a plate, prep the next phase, etc. It saves so much time not connected. When facing a difficult choice and you flip a coin if you're disappointed by the result, you know in your heart what decision you really wanted. Answer. When facing a difficult choice and you flip a coin if you're disappointed by the result, you know in your heart what decision you really wanted. Marry and you will regret it. Don't marry, you will also regret it. Marry or don't marry, you will regret it either way. Laugh at the world's foolishness, you will regret it. Weep over it, you will regret that too. Laugh at the world's foolishness or weep over it, you will regret both. Believe a woman, you will regret it. Believe her not, you will also regret it. Hang yourself, you will regret it. Do not hang yourself, and you will regret that too. Hang yourself or don't hang yourself, you'll regret it either way. Whether you hang yourself or do not hang yourself, you will regret both. This, gentleman, is the essence of all philosophy. Søren Kierkegaard. Story 166. Once I was stressing about something and my mom told me, if you can control it, then don't worry. If you can't control it, then don't worry. It's something that has stuck with me and helps me handle things big or small. Story 167. When looking at recipes online, click the print link. This cuts out the unnecessary backstory and random musings. You can also save the recipe as a PDF to your computer, or even just the link to the printable version. Story 168. If you look like you know what you're doing, people tend not to stop you from doing things you shouldn't be doing. Answer. Best for bathrooms while traveling. Often hotels and restaurants don't have truly public bathrooms, meaning they are for customers only. But if you walk in confidently and don't make eye contact with employees, you can often walk straight to the bathroom. I've done this in multiple countries and only been stopped if a hotel requires a key card or a restaurant has a locked one-stall option. Always worth a shot, though. Story 169. No empty hands. I saw this in a thread like this before, and it's a great trick for keeping a place tidy. Essentially, anytime you've to move from one place to another, check to see if there's anything you can take with you to tidy up. It's not about tidying up, just chipping away. Egg. Sitting at your sofa and have finished a coffee whilst getting up to the bathroom, take the empty cup with you and leave it by the sink. It's amazing how quickly it becomes a habit and how much it helps in keeping a place tidy. Answer. Mine is placing that thing you keep forgetting to take upstairs on the third step up when you next walk past the stairs. In my house, they're between the lounge kitchen. Then when you next go upstairs for another reason, you'll pick it up on your way up naturally. Go put it where it's meant to go. Edit your ad. I live alone, so there's no danger of anyone standing on it on their way downstairs falling. Story 170. Not a secret, but still a life hack that should be more well known. When someone is venting to you, before responding, figure out if they want to be consoled or do they want a solution to their problem. Story 171. Get outside and take a walk every day. The fresh air and exercise will help you sleep better. Even a 10-minute walk will help. Story 172. If you're leaving the house early in the morning and you absolutely have to have something with you, put it in front of the door the night before, so that if you open the door, it bumps into the item and you can't possibly forget it. Story 173. If you're at a convention or swap meet or anything where vendors travel to a location, wait until the last day if you want a deal. Most people aren't eager to carry merchandise back home with them and are willing to give discounts. Story 174. When I'm feeling lazy, I tell myself to just do it for 1 minute. Then it keeps piling on and I'm just like, fine, I'll wash all the dishes. Story 175. If you get scheduled yearly raises, bump up your 401 act by 1 at that time. You will be investing more money. You still enjoy the feeling of getting a raise. Story 176. Learn critical thinking. Understand the nature of logical fallacies and how information differs from misinformation. Answer. A great book that goes through practical reasoning errors, most focus on the classical ones, is The Art of Thinking Clearly. It's got no central thesis beyond people do dumb things often, which is often a crippling factor for this sort of book. When they try to make the facts match the overall theme, he goes through 100 reasoning errors, offers practical anecdotes, at one point calling out anecdotal evidence as a reasoning error, but conversely pointing out the value of narrative later, scientific research explaining them, and a suggestion on how to manage them. The "this dude is real" feeling came when he pointed out that the companies who paid him thousands to speak for them would save a lot of money and probably get more out of it by just distributing a few of his books. The most important lesson I got was, don't judge a decision by its outcome. Many of them are like that, where they're clear if you think about it, but you haven't. Story 177. Got a stuffy nose, and no matter how hard you blow it, it just seems to stay stuffed? It's inflamed, and you can trick your body into releasing the pressure. Blow all the air out of your lungs and plug your nose and mouth. Tip your head back and then up again slowly while holding your breath for as long as you can. When you go to take a breath, the inflamed sinus will temporarily go away and you'll be able to breathe again. While it's only temporary, it will make you feel so much better. Story 178. If you have hiccups, take a straw, cover your eardrums with your fingers, and suck water through the straw. Changed my life. Don't know why, but covering your ears is way more effective. Answer. This one is great too. Take a large sip of water and then you bend over as far as you can with your head basically between your legs while standing. You can do it other ways, but this is easiest for me. Next, swallow the water while you're upside down. My husband's nursing teacher taught him it resets your diaphragm. It's the only way I've ever tried that works consistently. You basically just drink water upside down, however works best for you. Story 179. Quick anxiety fix. Happiness is like money. Just as it is not the job of others to make you rich, it is also not the job of others to make you happy. That's your responsibility. Likewise, it is not your job to make them happy either. That's their responsibility. But just as you will make more money in the long run by providing value than taking value, you will also gain more happiness yourself by helping others become happier themselves. But again, you don't have to. Just as you can steal, rob, and scam for your own benefit in the short term, you can also shame, despise, and contempt others to make yourself feel better too. It's just that others will do it to you too, making it unsustainable. Story 180. Wake up early and give your girl wife, significant other the full Monty of flowers, candy, gifts for special occasions like Valentine's, anniversary, the first thing in the morning. The longer you leave them to their thoughts over the day, the greater the expectation will be, especially on those days other friends and coworkers are getting bestowed gifts. Story 181. If you wouldn't get up early to do something, don't stay up late to do it. Mindlessly scrolling on my phone, for instance. Go to bed. Story 182. Squeeze your abs if you feel lightheaded when you're standing up. It keeps your blood pressure stable. Story 183. If you're buttering bread and the butter's a little too hard, use the back of a spoon to spread the butter. Far less likely to rip the bread. My preferred method of spreading, whether it's too hard or not, though TBH. Story 184. Apologizing, conceding I could be wrong, and admitting I am wrong when I am. Honestly, this has been an amazing life hack for me. Story 185. When you want to hang something on the wall, picture frame, etc., put a tiny dab of toothpaste on the item where the nail will sit. Line up the item where you want it on the wall, leaving a tiny gap where the toothpaste is. When it's where you want it, press the item all the way against the wall. This will leave a tiny toothpaste mark on the wall, telling you exactly where to drive the nail. It works like a dream. No measuring, no multiple attempts, no time-consuming methods. I've used this method for years, and it works so much better than anything else. I find eyeballing it in this way is better than even measuring, because rooms are rarely flawlessly proportioned. So even if you measure exactly, it won't look quite right. Story 186. Thought this was common knowledge, but a friend recently asked what I was doing. Spreading your food out in the microwave into a ring shape in your bowl plate so it heats less unevenly. Still uneven, but the biggest consistent temperature gradient is between the edges and the center. So if you can make as much of it edges as possible, you more effectively lower the difference. Story 187. To get permanent marker off of something, go over it first with dry erase marker. I don't understand why it works, but it does, and it's saved my jerk at work a bunch of times now. Story 188. I always keep a spare key hidden in a magnetic box under my car, so I never get locked out no matter where I am. Story 189. Dumpsters can have a lot of stuff you can sell. Give to family, friends, donate to the needy. Can save make you a lot of money? There is a crazy amount if new or slightly used stuff stores throw out that goes right into the landfill. It is eye-openingly shocking how much utter waste is happening. I have more stuff now I got for free that I could use that I would have never bought before because I am so frugal. I find so much of stuff sometimes that I have to leave it behind because it is not practical to take it all. Story 190. Cut all expectations when communicating with other people. Helps avoid unnecessary disappointment. Lower the importance of any major or minor event. Helps prevent being overstressed and triggered by literally anything, making you much healthier. Sequin, Answer. There's a quote very similar in sentiment except applying to pretty much everything, not just communication. Expectations are resentments under construction. And Lamont. And that is just a streamlined version of major Buddhist philosophy that says, expectations, particularly when they lead to attachment and desire, are seen as a primary source of suffering. Story 191. If you're looking for something, when you find it, place it in the first place you looked. Obviously, this is where your brain thinks it should go. Story 192. Do a closing shift, tidy as soon as you're home from work. 12 the time I don't even take my coat off while I do this. Just spend 5 minutes making your space more inviting before you even sit down. You'll thank yourself. Answer. I do this too. Usually it's putting my shoes and bag away properly instead of just dumping them on the floor, getting myself water, doing a quick sweep for any trash that can go in the bin and any dirty dishes that can go in the sink, putting my phone on charge, clearing the dining table for a meal later, and turning on any soft lighting lamps that fit how dark it currently is outside. Story 193. You can de-wrinkle clothes with a wet washcloth placed with your clothes in the dryer for like 20 minutes on medium heat. Dryer sheets can be placed down to keep mice away from furniture cushions. This is good for cabins, vacation homes, or basements. I just saw this online. Putting frozen meat between 2 frying pans defrosts it pretty quick. I have yet to try this, but it apparently works. Story 194. When trying to divide something into equal parts, move the measuring tape until it reads a number that is easy to divide. For example, if you have a 41-inch board you want to divide into 7 sections, move the tape diagonally until it reads 42 inches. Mark at multiples of 6 and they will be evenly spaced. Story 195. Gym and kitchen are necessary but not sufficient components to getting a sustainably healthier body and mind. It is what you do the rest of the day that matters just as much. Keep moving your body in as many ways as you can, even if you're not breaking a sweat. Story 196. To keep a rolling office chair from sliding away from your desk, use your foot to force the wheels around in a circle a little. This will turn the wheels all in different directions so that it resists movement a little and kind of locks in place. Story 197. Not sure if it's secret, but if you're drinking a soda can with a straw, flip the tab over and put your straw through it. No more floating straws. Story 198. If you come across a task chore that takes 2-3 minutes to complete, do it instantly without even thinking. Story 199. Instead of untwisting pairs of Cat 6 cable with my fingers, I use my drill. It speeds it up quite a bit and my fingers don't hurt at the end. I do a lot of them. Story 200. Put a glass of water in the microwave when reheating pizza. It keeps the crust from getting rubbery. You're welcome. Story 201. Undo one end of a box of soda cans, then turn it around and open the other end. Then push all the cans into the fridge standing up and pull the box out with the other hand. Story 202. Lately, I've been reminding myself that if someone like Jared Genesis, maybe a niche reference, can be as confident as he is, then I sure as shoot can believe in myself, because I'm way better than him. Story 203. When meeting someone for the first time, be more interested in talking about them than you are talking about you. Ask open-ended questions and then follow up on what they say. You'll be regarded as a superb conversationalist. Story 204. Not life-changing, but when I get up from sitting somewhere in public, restaurant, park bench, picnic spot, I look back at that spot when I'm walking away to make sure I haven't left anything behind. Often when you're getting up and grabbing a bunch of things at once, it's easy to miss something or for something to slip out of a pocket, phone, wallet, glasses, keys, etc. But when you look back at the empty area, you'll notice it. Story 205. Use your hands like squeegees on your body before using a towel to dry off. You'll dry faster and your towel will be cleaner in case you reuse it before washing. Story 206. Buy a gift card to your local grocery store every paycheck. In December, I don't have to worry about groceries and can use that money for gifts. Story 207. TBH, looking at yourself as if you were a stranger and how you would judge them. Practically, this is mostly yelling at myself that I'm disabled. Story 208. If you walk into a busy restaurant, look around and see how many people are still waiting on their food. If it's a lot, the kitchen is backed up and you're going to be there a while. Story 209. Discussing the budget with my partner 2 weeks a month. It helps us stay on track with our long-term and short-term goals. Helps us stay on the same page with the number one reason people get divorced. Keeps us both accountable for our daily spending. And when we meet financial goals, it helps it be a big, proud moment for each other. It's really nice knowing you're in it with your partner. Story 210. If the jar lid is really tight, use something like a butter knife to pry the side of it a tiny margin. It will create a crevice that will let the air out and lose the pressure. Then you can open the lid very easily because the torque to which it was tightened by factory is not that much usually. Story 211. Set all of your bills up on autopay. You'll never have a late payment, and late payments can damage your credit rating. The catch is you have to have money in your account to cover the payments, but you shouldn't have the bills if you can't afford to pay them. Story 212. Use the tag side of the bath towel to dry the bottom half of your body and the non-tag side to dry your top half. That way you don't dry your face with your jerk lol. Story 213. When you're making hard-boiled eggs, lightly crack them before you put them into boil. You want to be able to kind of see the membrane of the egg, but you don't want it leaking. Then when it comes time to peel them, put them in a bowl, cover them in water, and vigorously swish the bowl around with a lid on it. Shells come right off. Story 214. After finishing evening meal, I will immediately wash up everything we've used, no dishwasher, and will then immediately go to the bathroom and fully floss my teeth. I do this with a timer to make it a little contest for myself. This has 4 benefits. Get gently moving after eating, which is good for you. Washing up gets done quickly instead of sitting in the sink for ages getting smelly. By the time I've cleaned up and gone to the bathroom, it's been long enough that brushing my teeth isn't immediate after eating, which is better for the teeth. I don't snack in the evenings because I've already brushed and flossed and don't want to. Again, the timer isn't necessary, but I'm motivated by light competition, so it helps me. Story 215. Whenever you have medical test or scan, ask for a copy of the report. Get copies of your hospital discharge summaries. Keep all of it in a binder, newest stuff at the front. Take it with you to appointments just in case. This is especially important for women, but it can be helpful for everyone. Story 216. If you need to lie, make a boring one. One full of technicalities, bland details, etc. I was asked to bring my sister's birthday cake in secret, but she saw me sneaking out. When she asked me about it, I just made an ordinary and bland story about someone calling me to pick up some mail for our father. But when we arrived there, we found out someone had put a wrong number. And then she left before I finished talking. Story 217. When you are getting hiccups and have water nearby, drape your arms over your head as you take a few big gulps of water and leave your arms there for a bit. 100 success rate. I learned it from my grandma in Taiwan. The whole thing was a bit more complicated, but this was my modified version that I can do most discreetly in public without drawing attention. Haha. Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. If you'd like to see more content like this, you might be interested to know that I've created another channel with a similar theme, especially for those of you who enjoy what I do. I'll leave a link in the description, and I hope to see you there. Take care.